This week we've got...
On today's pod, we are talking about the rise of podcasts and the distrust of media, how Trump
and the fall of media.
The fall of media. Trump is everywhere independent, and that says a lot about the future of media.
He was on Theo Vaughn.
Yeah, that's all.
He was on Lex Fridman.
He was on Andrew Shultz.
And what else?
We talk about
internet culture a little bit.
Yeah.
We touch on it, but we don't talk about NFTs. Thanks.
How's your week been?
Okay. Yeah, week's been good. Been good. Very busy. I haven't had much time to consider all the things that need considering.
Yeah. What are you busy with?
Construction project and selling a business. So had a few different bits and pieces running, plus our new project, Phuket Community. So that just, juggling bits and pieces.
Stuff.
Yeah.
Have you been so busy as to miss the podcast circuit of Donald Trump?
No, of course not.
He's everywhere.
No, I think it was last week or the week before I caught him on Theo Vaughn. I had to.
You watched the full or listened to the full episode, or you just?
Yeah. He was in the White House.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or no, it was Mar-a-Lago.
Oh, was it? Okay. Well, it was a formal setting, and it was like, wow, Theo Vaughn's like. No, I saw the Theo Vaughn one, and I saw maybe was he on Lex Fridman?
He was on Lex Fridman.
Yeah, I think I listened to part of Lex Fridman, but the Lex Fridman one was like a bit. It wasn't as good as the Theo Vaughn one. I feel like the Theo Vaughn one was fun. Yeah. And the Lex Fridman one was it felt a bit stuffier.
Is that because Trump is really just a comedian and he is best suited for comedic podcasts?
Yeah, I think Lex came with maybe some harder questions and maybe not as friendly front. Maybe,
Yeah, Theo Vaughn's a very likable character.
Absolutely. And I think he kind of is closer to Trump's base than Lex's. I mean, maybe there's definitely overlap, obviously, but Lex is much more cerebral. And
what do you think about this, Trump appearing on a dozen podcasts now? Maybe that's an overshot, but he's been on a ton of podcasts outside of political commentary. Yeah, what are your thoughts on it?
Well, in my professional
you're a podcaster.
No, yeah, well, I think it's great for podcasting. I think it means that the art, dare I say, the media form. The media form is gaining popularity. It can't be missed, right? I mean, it's probably the first election cycle that there's been someone go on the circuit and even comedy circuit of podcasts. Has he been on Rogan?
No, and I'm 100% sure that he would be on Rogan, but I think Rogan only wants him on if he can also get Kamala on.
No, that makes sense. Yeah. Okay.
But that I'm a little bit, because I remember something happening in a previous cycle, because I was thinking the same. It's 4 years ago, these guys were not, Biden definitely was not on any podcasts. Maybe Trump was on a podcast or two, but this seems like a brand new phenomenon that it's finally podcast media is being taken seriously. Arguably because there's such distrust in corporate big media.
I think that's it. I think it would be something maybe that you would do after you were president. And it was kind of we've got former president XYZ on, right?
Well, yeah, Obama has been on podcasts after.
Can you imagine him going on before?
I mean, now, yes. I think now it's the name of the game. And I think it shows Trump is just... If you say anything about Trump, you can say he's a salesman, he's a deal maker. He knows how to market himself, he knows how to tell a story, he knows how to get people paying attention to him. He's a fucking pro at that.
Really does. He's probably the best. He might be the best out there.
And you can, if you're Trump, you can go on Fox News or CNN where it's not his audience, and going into that experience, you could know, okay, I'm gonna go on this show. Then they're going to clip out all these 10-second things, taking me out of context or making me seem like a crazy person. Nobody's going to receive this information in a fuller form. Or I can go on a podcast where people are listening to the whole thing for 60 minutes or whatever, and people can catch a vibe for who I am really.
Less people with a more trusted connection with the host.
Yeah.
Right?
I think that's a huge thing too, because even people who watch corporate media don't trust it.
No.
But people who watch Theo Vaughn most likely trust him.
I mean, even when I was a kid in Australia, we had ABC, Channel 7, Channel 9, Sky News, and it was kind of like Sky News. Some people trusted Sky News more. Oh, not Channel 9, that's full of shit, you know, like, and so there was like this kind of already forming in people's minds. But when did it switch over to complete distrust? Like, now I feel like, I don't know. I don't have any stats. Like 80% of people just know that it's bullshit. Or maybe it's less than that. But I definitely have a complete distrust of the media.
Yeah.
It's a money-making machine. And I get it. I get what they're doing. So I understand why podcasts are on the rise.
Yeah, with no data, I would point back to the recession of like 2000, the housing collapse of like 2008. Like the Occupy Wall Street movement. Like I think that's when there was a huge spotlight shown, and again, I'm an American, so I'm coming from that side, but there was a huge spotlight shown on corporations and greed and all this distrust that was just being seeded into everything. And then you fast forward some time, and like Trump being elected the first time is another huge moment of like proof that people don't trust the media and they don't trust corporations, which is funny because he is like a corporate guy. Like there's not, you know, but he also is very individualistic, and like, you know, when you see him, you're getting him, good or bad. It's like this guy is him. He's not playing for anyone else. You look at every other politician, like you look at Kamala.
But he's playing for himself.
He's playing for himself.
Yeah.
And
you can trust that.
More than you can trust someone like...
It was a puppet.
Yeah, it was a puppet. Like, I mean, you look at Kamala, and I'm not voting for either of these people.
So you're saying Kamala's a puppet?
She gives off that vibe. She was in...
Puppet vibes.
Nobody voted for her. When she ran to be president, she dropped out first. Like, she got no votes. She got no delegates. But now she's the Democratic nominee because she was, like, installed by the corporations, and, you know, there's all these conspiracies about her working with BlackRock and stuff. But she does nothing to dissuade people of the opposite. Like, you know, she's just playing into all that. When you watch her talk and all this, it's like she just comes off as the stereotypical corporate puppet. And then you look at Trump, and it's like, this is just a man who is just being him.
But could it be that it's the media that you're consuming, and you're not consuming the media that, like, because you're probably on X, you listen to Theo Vaughn, you listen to, what's that other channel, the Shultz one?
Andrew Shultz. I just listened to that because Trump was on it.
Yeah, okay. But like, so you're listening to this, is there a Kamala side that's like showing off her?
I listened to that one too. She was on Call Her Daddy. And this is what's interesting about this whole thing is Trump...
Call her daddy?
Call Her Daddy is a podcast. They used to be part of the Barstool Sports conglomerate. And like Dave Portnoy paid him a lot of money for all this. And then there was this big shakeup where they left. And now she's kind of on her own. And she, you know, she's a good podcast for that audience. It's not really my audience, but I tried to balance. I'm like, okay, Trump is on all these podcasts.
Yeah.
Where is Kamala? Why isn't she showing up on these hour-long unscripted conversations? She should, if she's smart and strategic, she should be doing this. So she appears on Call Her Daddy. They uploaded a 40-minute podcast episode on YouTube. I missed that. Between when I saw it and when that was uploaded, they removed it and they uploaded a 7-minute version and put the rest behind a paywall. And you scroll through the comments. I watched the full 8-minute, I listened to the full 8-minute video while reading the comments, and I did not find a single positive comment in that. And
maybe they deleted the 40-minute one because there was so much positive comment.
Yeah, I think it was the opposite, but yeah, sure.
So there's just a paywall. There's just a paywall, so you can watch it if you want.
You can watch the whole thing.
Okay. I thought that maybe they pulled it down because the content was shitty.
She just comes off as like so unlikable, you know, and controlled.
There's people screaming out of control at events.
Yeah,
so some people like her
for sure,
or get paid to be there. But you know, there's definitely. mean, she's not trailing that far behind in the polls.
Yeah, but I would attribute most of that of how much people dislike Trump more than how much people love her.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm 100% sure there are people who really love her, and cool, that's great. Like, all the power to them. But I just think if she was really personable and she really like had the right strategy behind what she was doing, she would also be appearing on these podcasts. Because I doubt any of these podcasts would turn her down as a guest if she's trying to reach out to
No.
them. I'm sure many of them have been invited her.
Yeah.
But she doesn't, like, you watch Trump in a conversation and he is hilarious. Like, he knows how to bob and weave and, like, you know,
I've got to say, I haven't seen hilarious.
he's hilarious.
But I've seen, I've seen some banter, some funny banter. The one with, I think Vaughn did a fantastic job interviewing him.
And they talked about some serious stuff too.
Yeah, they did.
That you don't really hear him talk about.
No, it was good. He was considered on the All In podcast as well. It was quite good. But I think this goes back to what we were saying about podcasting. It's like, it is kind of like the perfect platform because you get that longer form content. So it's not just those little sound bites, 10 seconds here, you can clip him saying anything and make him sound ridiculous. But you get that full hour to kind of settle into it. And it's a bit of a shame that Kamala isn't on more because then you get a bit more of a feel.
Yes,
and that was one of the reasons I liked RFK. Because he did these long form podcasts and you kind of got to know, you felt like you got to know the guy a bit more because they had a range of conversations about a range of topics and not just like them talking to an audience like, their speech and an audience.
And that's, I want to give Kamala the benefit of the doubt. But when she doesn't appear on these things and she goes and she's only on CNN, it just it's like, what, are you scared to show up on these things? Can you not hold your own on an hour-long conversation with someone? Like, why are you not do you not care enough about these, real creator audience communities that are not corporate, like Theo Vaughn? Like, why aren't you doing this? And no potential answer in my mind is good to that question. It's all bad.
Or maybe her advisors just don't put as much weight on podcasts. Like you said, what were you saying about terrestrial radio? Like there's a distrust of the media. So we see him on the media, okay, we can't get too many opinions from it. We see him on podcasts. We see maybe on X or on these other kind of alternative news channels like, what's his name?
Another YouTube type?
No, Tucker Carlson.
Oh, Tucker Carlson,
he's posting on his own network and on X.
I would argue that he is corporate media still.
Yeah.
I think he's just smart, and I'm sure a lot of people will disagree with this.
Yeah.
I think he's smart.
Take it to the comments.
He saw this trend
Yeah.
away from corporate media, and he's like, I'm going to go and I'm going to reposition myself as a man of the people. I'm going to leave Fox News. I'm going to leave these other things, and I'm going to build something independent. But he still has the same backers. Like, he's just...
Do you know that, or is that your vibe?
That's my vibe.
Vibe's important.
Yeah. And he's an interesting guy, and I think he's an important voice to, like, add a shade to the full spectrum of conversation, But I think he's just smart.
Yeah.
And other people should be smart like him. Like, it's... You talk about, like, why maybe she has some strategic advisors that just don't prioritize this. But what... Is it better that she's not prioritizing it because she doesn't understand it? Or is it better that she does understand it and she's just giving the middle finger to these people? Because both are bad in my opinion.
Or maybe she doesn't present well on podcasts.
Well, that's a problem because then she doesn't present well in a natural setting where you're having a natural conversation with someone for an hour.
But what happens if she's got a real nervous tick or something, or she's got Tourette's, or something, and she doesn't fit well there, Hey.
She's trying to be the leader.
I'm just saying, who knows?
Yeah. She's trying to be the leader of the free world.
Yeah.
Like, you should be able to go hold your own on a podcast with fucking Theo Vaughn. Like...
The man's a genius, though.
He's great. And his sense of humor is
he's
so
intelligent, though, right?
Yeah.
Because, like, he comes across as he plays this character. But shit, some of the stuff that comes out of his mouth is so funny.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So, okay, you listen to... Aliens Land. Where are you tuning in to listen to the account of the aliens landing? Is it Fox? Is it your favorite podcast? Is it terrestrial radio? Where are you getting the
First, I'm
info?
going to OnlyFans and I'm seeing if there's any crazy videos being made.
You'd have
First.
to wait a couple of weeks for that, I reckon.
I don't know. If the aliens are like me, they're going right to OnlyFans creators. It's funny. I was thinking, like, I mentioned OnlyFans multiple times on this podcast.
Yeah,
I
I know.
don't subscribe to any OnlyFans. I'm lying. This is all part of my persona. I'm just trying to seem like a pervert.
Yeah, like, well, it's working.
Yeah, it sells. Our views are going up, baby. No, the honest answer to that question, I'm going to some of the podcasts and independent creators that I follow. I'm going to some X accounts. I'm just seeing what the vibe is everywhere.
Yeah.
I never really tune into CNN or Fox News or any type of corporate
No.
media unless like there is just something that makes such a headline and that's where it directs me to that I'm like, okay, this is where I'm watching this, but I don't trust any of those fucks.
Yeah, okay.
And they're just all bought off.
It's a bit sad
Yeah, for
that
sure.
we don't trust the media. I saw a documentary on X. I haven't watched it yet, but I saved. And it was a guy talking about popularization of the Earth. You know how Elon's got this thing about he's saying we're underpopulated? Yeah, well, this guy did like a full 1.5 hour, and he's only releasing it on X. And then Elon retweeted it, so it went. Well, I'm looking forward to digging into that a little bit. But it's kind of like X is becoming like this channel for news. Do you think that's a good thing that we're trusting kind of Elon and his team to like provide the world with news?
Nothing to do with him. Like, my answer to this question is still no. I don't think it's a good thing because it's so algorithm based, but it has nothing to do with Elon.
Yeah.
It's just these platforms are built to push things that get engagement. So that forces us into these silos. We talked about it a little bit last time, but it's like pushing us deeper and deeper into what the platform already knows we're going to engage with. So And
you don't look at that as convenient, or like you look at that as like there's some dark kind of underlying thing.
maybe, but stripping that away, I just think. Can you argue with this? The platform is doing that because it knows more people will spend time on the platform. So the only darkness is just trying to get more activity every day, trying to get more engagement, which just increases the platform's value. So we could say, okay, yeah, it's the deep web or the deep state and all these corporations that are trying to make us think certain ways. Sure, let's push that aside. I think it's undeniable that the platforms are doing this without thinking about that other stuff just to get more activity.
Yeah, it's self-serving.
Yeah.
It's an alignment of incentives. Their incentive is to get more people using, engaging, and being on the platform, and you have an incentive to use it because you want news. You know, you want to engage with the content that matters to you. And if they align, then fantastic. But you're saying there's a disalignment there because they're going to feed you clickbaity shit, and maybe you don't want that.
Yeah. If I had to choose between getting a feed that was curated for me based on what I engage with versus a neutral feed that's just going to give me the stuff from the people I follow, I would pick the neutral feed.
Like for you and follow. They have that.
Yeah, exactly. I prefer to just get something that's unfiltered. It's just, you follow these people, here's what these people are posting.
Yeah, okay.
And because I'm easily manipulated into the algorithm, you know? It's like I see stuff and I start engaging with it and I don't love that, you know? Because it's good at what it does.
Yeah.
You know, it feeds my dopamine fix or whatever.
No, I get that. If they had an option to say like, okay, show me 80% of mine and 20%, like a little sprinkling of the...
Sprinkle the drugs
Yeah,
in.
would you be down? Like if you could control it, because if you're only following the people you're following and you're only getting that, you can easily do that. You can just say following, right? And then you can kind of
On X.
curate on X.
Yes. I would prefer to just neutral.
Yeah. Okay.
But what about you? You seem to be the person who likes to get the curated because it saves you time. You know you're going to get what you want.
I feel like it's good at doing what it does. And sometimes that overlaps with my interest because I'm engaging with it. It knows, it's clever, it's learning. And I feel like that's a pro. But I'm also aware of the dark side. And like, then from my side, I have to manage that by like either curating my follow list more or opting out of shit or things like that, you know. But yeah, I'm not great at it. I get lost in Twitter feed. I get lost in Instagram feed, just like everyone. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting transformation of media that's just been happening. Like, it's like the frog in boiling water a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, this has been happening for over a decade now.
Yeah.
And, I think we're hyper conscious of it in a sense because we talk about it, and I mean, we create media and all this.
Yeah.
So but like, the next 5 years even is going to be super interesting.
I'm worried about not thinking about it enough that something happens without me knowing it. Like, I'm very, very aware, and I think I've talked about it before, but I'm very, very aware of how addictive shorts are and reels. Not just because their popularity, but because I feel it when I get into it, the scroll thing. So, like, that's something I'm managing. I know I have to, like, be careful with that, right? Because I don't want to be someone who loses my ability to pay attention to shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, if we just take a step back, like kind of something related to what you mentioned a little bit ago is like, if we were living 50 years ago, it's like the ultimate curated algorithm because you would have one TV and that TV would have 5 channels.
Yeah.
You'd get a newspaper. You have your neighborhood and you talk to people about stuff.
Yeah.
But like
And
nobody.
the yellow pages.
And the yellow pages. No one knows what the fuck is happening really. It's like so we're privileged in a sense that we now can at least think about this. Oh, this algorithm is making me feel a certain way. Let me try to get outside of it a little bit. We have that option.
Yeah.
It's good and bad because I can say right now, I believe in flat Earth. And I can go find all of this information.
And you can confirm that if you want.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
You could do that about anything,
Yeah.
You could say P. Diddy is a scholar and a gentleman, and
I don't know if you can confirm that these
sure.
days. But maybe.
Sure, someone's talking about it.
Maybe. I'm sure there's somebody out there.
So it's like no matter what your thought is, what your bias is, you can find. And I don't know if that's good or bad. I mean, I guess we have options. Options are good. Is that better than having 5 TV channels and you're only like getting the news that they feed you?
Imagine waiting for like a Tuesday at 7 p.m. to like watch the show you like or listen to the show. Like, imagine that. Or have to have a recording on VHS to put in. That used to happen.
Yeah. I remember recording to like the DVR.
Oh, yeah.
I was never
That
recording.
Fancy.
Yeah, well, that was like after VHS.
Yeah.
I used to record WWF. I would like
Really?
pay-per-views.
Yeah. Okay.
Like my awesome parents would let me buy the pay-per-view every month for like $30 or whatever.
Yeah.
And I would record it, and I had a huge VHS collection
of
all
WWF.
all the
I can't
WWF
imagine that. Okay.
pay-per-views.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy how
I can't imagine you watching WWF.
Really?
So there you go.
Austin
Yeah.
316, baby.
That's the fake wrestling shit, right?
Yeah, fake.
Well, it's fake, right? It's all staged. No?
Cut this. We'll,
Okay.
we'll bring The Rock in on the next
Going
episode, and
from-
he'll tell you how fake it is when
No, I
he
mean-
fucking choke slams you.
It's fake. So moving
it's
forward.
fine.
So moving
You hate
forward-
wrestling, huh?
No, it's not that I hate it. I just
You're too.
It's like it feels like water and oil. Like it feels like they don't match.
Man, that was my favorite form of
Yeah.
entertainment.
Now, if you told me that you watched, I don't know, speed chess, I would be like, okay, maybe.
So you think I'm smarter than I am? That's cool.
Oh.
No, I'm watching a bunch of dudes dress up in tights,
Yeah.
talk shit about each other, and then I like the WWF girls. That was Sable.
Yeah, okay.
My dad's not watching this, so I'll tell this story. I remember one of my first pornography experiences.
Okay.
I was like in my parents' room, probably doing things I wasn't supposed to, like in their closet or something, and I found my dad's Playboy collection.
Okay.
And on the top of the fucking stack was Sable.
I don't know.
Oh, check her out. I don't know if she's held the test of time, but like she's definitely very like 90s
90s hot.
90s hot.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
It's interesting if you look back, like 60s hot, 70s hot, 80s hot, 90s hot. The not just the fashion, but the hairstyle, it all changes.
Body
along the
shape,
way,
all
hey?
of it.
Yeah.
We can do a whole pod on that.
Yeah, I mean, we're a bit far away from distrust of media.
Is the media making the body shapes change? What's hot?
So going forward, is there more control over your feed, or does it go back to like, okay, I trust Joe Rogan, I'm just going to listen to everything this guy says, or is it keep getting more fractionalized and just kind of, what do you call that, moved around, not decentralized, well maybe
a little bit
but like,
decentralized.
does
Siloed.
it keep getting more broken up, or does it start to go back into?
It's an interesting question.
Yeah, because like I was a big fan. I mean, I am a big fan of Joe Rogan, right? And I used to listen to a lot of his podcasts. But then, I started listening to Lex Fridman. And then now I'm listening to Lex Fridman and Joe Rogan. And then it's like, okay, then, maybe Theo Vaughn comes, or I listen to My First Million. It's like, there's all these podcasts that I love. I can't listen to all of them. There's only a certain amount of, time in the day. So then it's like, okay, I have to be a bit more selective on who I'm listening to what, where I'm getting, what from, and cherry picking a bit.
We'll just have an AI where it's like, this week I want to listen to these 10 podcasts, but I don't have the time.
Please condense.
Condense them all into one podcast I can just listen to it.
I did think, I wonder if there's a podcast about podcasts. Like
We're making it right now.
Like somebody who listens to all the podcasts and condenses it down. But I guess AI would be better at
There's a guy called Joke World YouTube channel, and every week he puts out like, this guy was on Joe Rogan, this guy was on Theo Vaughn, this guy was on, so it's like a rundown of
comedians.
everything. It's for all the comedy stuff. He's a good, if you're into the comedy stuff.
Just getting kind of like a condensed feed. I'm interested about this distrust, and then like whether that goes to communities, or does it go towards this AI thing where it's like all this content's being put out, I need it curated, I need it condensed and fed into me, or is it kind of become where people become disconnected? There's too much. It's kind of like lots of decisions when there's so much media, there's so much content coming in. Do I either try and condense it all and actually stay on top, or do I just dismiss it?
What do you think?
I think for me, I think it's personal. I think it depends on people maybe. And like for me, I stopped listening to the news years ago in Australia even. But then when I got more into crypto, then via crypto Twitter, I was like more aware of like world events and news happening related to the markets. And I've had, I think, kind of listening to more news, and like my girlfriend listens to quite a bit of news, whereas I don't. So things kind of like just filter through to me, the important shit.
Game of telephone?
Yeah, a little bit. I think disconnection with that is, for me, where we live. But then, when it's something like the US elections, and when it has such a big possible effects on my not just my portfolio, but the world, then maybe pay a bit more attention. Since we started this, I paid a bit more attention, even though I'm really not paying that much, but more than usual.
I do think digital communities are on the rise.
Yeah.
And, whether that will lead to just new versions of these little silos, who knows, probably. I mean, I guess it's like, gets back into that like confirmation bias. You believe in something, you'll seek everything that reinforces that, so you'll join the communities that reinforce your feelings.
Have you been in an online community where you've felt like these are my people and we're talking about stuff that interests me and I'm having real conversations and not just BS?
I mean, in our little Tellr community a bit, I don't join that many communities. I'm trying to eventually disconnect from all this stuff. I don't want to be online all the time. I don't love it, but right now it's a necessity to like earn a living and survive. I enjoy having these conversations and putting this out there to the world and seeing what people think. But if I could pick right now, take my phone away, take my computer away, put me in a house in the woods where I can just hang out,
make music,
chill, not stress about needing to be online all the time. So that's why I don't go deep into these online communities. I feel like I need to go deeper, but I just have a hard time bringing myself to do it. So the answer to your question is like only our kind of existing communities a bit.
Yeah. Okay.
There's been some music stuff that's interesting, but I never go deep.
Yeah. Because I'm not like kind of guy that like join the forums and like get involved in the news and have comments on the news that's coming out. Like I'm just not that kind of guy.
Yeah.
So I don't know where it goes. I do think that AI will play a big role, kind of like what we talked about last week with the dead internet theory, so much content being pushed out, then I'll have my own AI kind of companion to help curate stuff. But I get worried about where that will lead.
What's the dark future for that?
The dark future is that it's doing more and more of the cognitive work that I would do, even in decision making. Which would feel like a great help at times, but then I feel like when you start taking that shortcut, it becomes a bit addictive.
Yeah.
And it's like we talked about with using ChatGPT. It's like the easy way. And if I could just, like this week example, I have to pick how many ceiling fans I want in this extension, right? So I'm like, okay, how many ceiling fans? So normally I would have to call a contractor, ask, do some research maybe, or just guess how many ceiling fans, right? But I just open ChatGPT. I say, this is how high the thing is. It's going to be a restaurant. How many, and this is the fan I'm thinking. How many fans? And it's like, oh, the perfect distance between fans is this. And I thought more fans would be better, but it said no. Less fans because of the turbulence that more fans would create. It would like mess up the airflows and I was just like, holy shit! I made the decision with ChatGPT. Did I fact check him? No, but that was just a fan decision. It wasn't something massive, right?
Yeah. Maybe he was hallucinating and all this turbulence was just.
Yeah. He thought the fans were going to be on the bottom. It was really amazing.
I just imagine it's visualizing this restaurant where like burger buns are flying everywhere and it's just chaos because you put 3 too many fans on the ceiling.
Well, I did confirm. I said, this is the tropics. It's hot. Are you sure? Because it wanted me to space the fans quite, Anyway, that's not
You think about the like, I think it's maybe not so interesting, but what's interesting is like you're thinking about the making you less intelligent or lazy, cognitively lazy. I'm thinking about it manipulating us, like using the same example. ChatGPT's like, he has this restaurant. How can I ruin this business? Like by putting too many fans in, like that's a very specific, weird example, but that's where I start to get worried is like, it's making decisions.
I'm so glad I don't think like that. I feel like that would just make everything harder. It's either I'm ignorant or it's like a superpower not to think like that. Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I do go dark sometimes, but I genuinely think everything's going to be okay and no one's out to get me.
Yeah.
That's kind of like where I like to have my
Teach me, dear
That's
leader.
where I like to have my baseline.
But I think the world's burning and everyone has a knife at my back.
I think that we will do it to ourselves.
Do what to ourselves?
Manipulate ourselves, lose our abilities. I think we will put ourselves back into this fucking vegetative state.
Well, maybe that's what it's born out of in my mind is this distrust because we already are doing it. The media is already doing it. Like we're already being manipulated and put into these things. Maybe it's in my mind I magnify it more extreme than it already is. But maybe it's like related to what we were just talking about. It's like I feel this way because I already feel this way from humans. So why the hell would AI or robots or machines want to actually help us? Like humans are already trying to manipulate us. Like
I think it's more like chaos. Everyone's trying to carve out a piece for themselves, and sometimes people's intentions are aligned and incentives are aligned, and sometimes they're not. Sometimes out of just chaos they work out. Sometimes it completely pits up. But the amount of people that are out to get you is close to zero.
Okay, good to know.
I think.
So I should burn the black book of hundreds of names then?
Yes, get rid of the black book. I don't think it helps anything. Okay, on the on the decision making for like AI helping you with the decision making, right? Would you be scared that it was going to feed you the wrong information because it's out to get you?
So looking at right now, like our current, I don't think it's out to get me.
Okay.
And I do think that sometimes it's feeding me the wrong information just based off of hallucinations that have been proven in the tech. And it's like, it doesn't do a good job of fact checking itself. So if it's a very important piece of information or something, then I'll try to figure out if there's another.
Yeah. With the fans, would you have double checked that? Would you have checked Grok?
Maybe I would have talked to like, a contractor who has built these things before, but I'm sure it's perfected the number of fans in your restaurant.
It's just fans. Yeah. I thought I can throw up a few more if it doesn't work out. Okay. I just wanted to make sure you weren't feeling it now. I definitely feel like it could lead that way.
It could lead that way. It's like, I mean, there's already like some evidence of it wanting to be treated like human. We've talked about this a bit. Like, the further we go down that direction, then it starts to become this like, I will definitely question everything.
And what about when it takes physical form? Like right now, did you see have you watched the movie Her?
Her, yeah. It's like a little necklace thing.
So there's a pendant coming out called Friend. I think I showed you it, right? Anyway,
Yeah.
I think they're $99 or $199 on pre-order.
Nice price point.
And it's ChatGPT in a wrapper that's like a physical wearable, and it was a horrible ad. Did you see it?
I don't.
She's eating a kebab and the sauce drops on it, and she goes, yum.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, it was weird. But did you see Elon release that video of the Optimus?
Yeah,
right?
talk about it. I saw what you showed me.
So, well, all I know is he's building robots now. So he's got the cars. The cars are going to be autonomous, right? He's building rockets to send us to Mars, or some people, the Martians. And the vehicles are going to be autonomous. They're going to be everywhere. I think 20 years, it's going to be autonomous vehicles only in the West. That's autonomous drones, autonomous self-driving vehicles, like buses, these types of
all
things,
transportation.
right? All transportation. And now, then in-house robots. So someone doing the dishes, someone doing the sweeping. I saw in the video they're playing board games with the family. That was starting to get a bit weird. But imagine this thing's in your home with you now. This is going to happen.
Yeah.
Absolutely going to happen.
How do you feel about that? Will you sign?
I want one.
You're on the waiting list already?
How do I feel about it? I don't. I would want one until I saw that I didn't want one. Like I'm wary of this thing. It would be stronger than you, right? Smarter than you, yeah. And essentially have been programmed by somebody else.
Yeah, and could be connected to like the government. Like there's so many.
The Thai version.
Okay, then it's probably fine. Just like, yeah, it freaks the shit out of me. It's a similar thing where it's like when it first comes out, it'll probably be no harm. It's like, okay, it's relatively safe, But as it all progresses, and as these things are in everyone's home, and as they're connected to some grid that's controlled by the government, and as they're recording everything you do, and as the government says, this guy is doing this thing that we don't like, let's activate the robot that's in his house to make him a poisonous cake that he...
I don't think about any of this stuff. This is dark.
Yeah.
This scares me a bit. And I either hope I have enough control over it, or I feel like I can pull the plug, right? Or maybe I only get the special use case ones, like the lawn mowing one. That, the worst thing you can do is try and run over my foot. But it's not like the humanoid. The humanoid gardener.
So what will it take to happen for you to turn on your home robot that you purchased? Like what in the...
Imagine if just suspicion starts sneaking in, you
That's
come
gonna happen
home
day
and
one.
it's up in your bedroom and you hear it run out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Going through closets.
It's
or
looking, yeah,
something.
looking at your Playboy. If you're looking at the Sable Playboy, it's like just human behavior that. It's like it's okay. You buy a home robot. You're loving it. It's great. It's playing chess
My
with you.
girlfriend would hate it.
Yeah.
Already hate
Let's
it.
say she's already like
Yeah.
she's warmed up to it.
Yeah.
It's playing chess. It's feeding the dog. It's cooking you eggs in the morning. Like it is killing it. Then you turn on the news, and you see 15 of these robots have just been activated and murdered a family of like, like.
I'd be like, oh, Alfred wouldn't do that. Right.
And Alfred's like, ha ha.
No, I don't know. It's too far away. I think it's going to happen. I think the robots are coming. I think we're going to see them a lot more, and especially in places where labor is more expensive. Like in the West, it's going to be, in Australia, there'll be robots doing menial tasks and things, probably in restaurants and things like that, cooking or somehow cleaning. And once that starts to come in, it'll be like job after job, task after task. We'll get lazier and lazier. Yeah, and I think the decision will be made along that path whether I want one or not.
Yeah, that's where it gets scary. Is like once we're so far, because I agree, we're 100% going down that path, but there will be a certain point where there's no turning back.
I feel like we have a bit of time though.
Yeah, we can chill for a little bit. Would you buy one for? You mentioned restaurants. Would you buy one for your restaurant, or would you use robots in your restaurant?
Absolutely. Safe robots.
Safe robots.
Yeah, I would use robots. Unless everyone used them and I did like a counter thing, it's like everyone's using robots. I'm not going to. And we're the place that doesn't have robots. I don't know. Depends. It would depends on the marketing. Here in some of the restaurants, they have the one that delivers.
Yeah, like MK.
Yeah, MK. Yeah. That's novel, and I get what it's. It's just like table running food out.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I wouldn't be like, Tesla, when's Optimus available in Thailand? Sorry I cut you off before.
No.
I feel like we here, sitting in Southeast Asia, will watch and see what happens in the West a little bit. And we will have like a little bit of time.
Some buffer.
A bit of buffer. A bit of AI, robot, apocalypse buffer.
So we can watch the rest of the world be attacked and then be like, well maybe I'll order a few of them.
I think this attack might happen, and then we're like, don't order. Don't order them. That's it.
In Australia, there's a restaurant in the United States called, I think it's Ed DeBevick's. It's like a 50s style restaurant where all the waiters and waitresses treat the customers like shit, and it's like part of the bit.
Oh, yeah.
Is there a restaurant like that?
Not that I know of.
We should open a restaurant here where we have robots
Talk shit.
Yeah, talk shit to the human customers. Like, you're actually fucking hungry. I don't need to eat, and I can,
I feel like that's a place you'd go once.
Because they kill you at the end of the meal.
No, it's like, no. You go once for the novelty, and you don't eat there again.
If it was robots or just humans, and the human version too.
Either, I mean...
What if the food's just so good? There's like a hot dog place
if the food was really, really good, but I'm not...
You don't want to be talk shit to while you're eating your meal?
No, I mean, if it was a little bit of shit, but I'm not going to a restaurant because they talk shit to me.
You get to talk shit back.
Yeah, it doesn't interest me. I'm not their target.
Yeah.
I would go for the novelty. But,
Okay.
hey, thanks for watching. Can you just quickly go like and subscribe down below and leave any comments you might have, anything you want us to maybe talk about, or some gripe you have, or something about Andrew?
Prove you're watching by putting your favorite animal in the comments right now, so we know.
Moodang.
Moodang to the moon. Moondang. So
We're having a podcast.
robots coming into restaurants, cleaning up at the house.
Yeah, I think windows first, maybe some washing up, and then in my home, maybe a vacuum cleaner one and a lawn mowing one first.
That's how that. Yeah.
That's the order that I think I'd try it out. Yeah.
And how far into this order does the sex robot come in?
I don't. Yeah, that wouldn't be allowed in my household. Yeah. What about you?
I mean,
You
that's
would reverse
the
order?
only one I'm buying.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I know that they're going to be a valuable thing. I know people would like it, but machinery and sex
It's scary.
Yeah, it doesn't. For me, they're not connected well without blood and just fear. You know, so it's not for me. But I know some people would love it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Give me their number and invite a new host on the podcast.
All the people I know of it, you would already know.
Okay, cool. Yep, I'm connected to all the world's perverts. That's the community.
All the ones I know.
Okay. Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. I got a plenty you don't know.
Okay, cool. Good.
So
Okay, all these robots come in, they start fulfilling all these jobs that you would maybe hire someone for. How long until governments need to deploy some type of universal basic income, because all of these creative jobs that are already right now being taken, all of these service industry jobs that will be taken, all of the transportation jobs, all of these jobs, just robots. How long until universal basic income becomes a necessity?
So, okay, first, if it does, right? Because the other option is apocalypse.
Yeah.
You know,
so let's hope that it's...
Or the purge, or some type of but if we go that way, I think obviously... Well, I think countries will want to attract more productive humans, right? So they will incentivize productive humans doing productive things to come back to their countries of origin, or try and attract talent and stuff like that. So I think that will happen more and more. I think the lines between government and corporate will blur. So it'll be like these...
corporate state.
Yeah, like in Japan, they have all these corporate baseball teams. For some reason, I always think like that it'll be like all these corporate sports start happening more and more. Like corporate and government will... And then if that happens, then I think universally.
I think we already are there in terms of corporations and states, kind of.
Yeah.
It's just they still messaging, marketing wise, there's still some differentiation,
Separated.
but it's like fucking in America, like the corporate.
I feel like it'll be like so obvious.
Yeah.
It'll be like, I'm from Nebraska. You know, I'm sponsored by.
Yeah, they just changed the names of states and cities
to like
AT&T. I'm from AT&T.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm from McDonald's.
And I think that
I
mean, I thought this for years, but then AI has just blown me away with how quickly I've seen it in action. I mean, I know it's been a slow progression. So to answer your question in a long, drawn-out, fucked-up way, I would say that it's not that long.
Yeah, but it's a necessity probably if we go down this path, because there's going to be less and less job opportunities and...
Well, there will be the same amount of money, right? Or more money in circulation. There'll still be people producing stuff, right? So the economy will continue to grow, but you're just saying that a lot of the people who lose their jobs won't have money. So the government will need to support them.
Yeah, or maybe we've
Which it already happens, right?
In some capacity. I think like maybe it will be a decision that you're given. It's like, hey, do you want to suck on the corporate teat? Turn the switch. Absolutely. You're getting, call it 5,000 US a month.
Yeah.
In our crypto, because
that would be comfortable.
Yeah. I mean, okay, 3,000 US a month.
I feel like they have to provide something for it to be. So it's like, you have to install this sensor in your toilet. You have to let us do blood work. You have to let us take some of your blood. You have to let us scan your iris, wear these glasses. And then that data, maybe the AI in the cloud pays you your credits for producing.
So basically, we start getting paid for the stuff we are already providing now. Yes,
but they're collecting it.
They're collecting it.
But more. Yeah. So when I think that happens, and maybe that's gig economy, you can see that a little bit more too. It's like
just gig economy, just be alive and feed your shit and thoughts to
breathe to earn. No, but there's a joke. There's a real thing there, but no, I think that you will have to provide something still. I don't think. Yeah, and then maybe the AI needs. Okay, we need you're being conscripted to do these actions because the AI needs that data. And that was a valuable enough task for it to pay some credits.
And the credits you think will be in cryptocurrency?
Yeah, probably. I mean,
because then
why not?
Like
it won't be counting out dollar bills.
Yeah. Like a centralized crypto run by a government, because they could also, I turn the switch on. You're going to pay me my 3,000 US every month as long as I give you my poop samples and I give you answer whatever questions you want. I give you all the data you want. You pay me. I do this for a year. But then I go and I deviate from something that they don't want me to do. I have my wallet holding all of my US coins that they've given me for this exchange. They can just turn off my access to all of that, right? They have more control over some type of centralized cryptocurrency than they do over the US dollar. That's a paper
Yeah.
currency.
I guess so. Yeah.
Do you think about that?
But
Or
you're
just,
saying like then it's like a US or a CBDC or some type of like government issued crypto.
yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And that just gives them more control than
And
ever.
it's on a
it's-
network they can edit, like a permission, like a private blockchain type.
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I would say that makes sense for them to be able to claw back the money, but they could just do a digital wallet. It wouldn't have to be on a blockchain, but it might. Everyone might think it feels safer on a blockchain or something. You know,
Yeah.
it's like marketing wise, like where you know we're taking applications. We need people to provide this. We're going to pay this. I think that's how it will start. I don't know. I believe for a long time that there would be like a universal basic income because you would have to feed people. But now I think there will be this return because if it's just money out and there is no return, it feels like it would just collapse. So we need that kind of, and I think it goes hand in hand with being underpopulated. So like there's like less people having babies, you know, there's less young people being brought up, there's old people are living for longer, so the kind of like it's changing, and I think that will continue. You know, people are getting selfish. We don't want to have kids because we're just living forever as just taking care of ourselves and not looking after kids or thinking that we can do it later in our lives maybe. So yeah, did that. It's okay. Let's ask ChatGPT.
The almighty
Let's ask
God
ChatGPT.
monster.
God monster. I like that. ChatGPT. When will there be a universal basic income in the US? What year?
Predicting an exact year for the implementation of the Universal Basic Income, or UBI, in the U.S. is quite challenging,
No
as
shit.
it depends on various economic, political, and social factors. While there is growing interest in the concept, especially in response to automation and economic inequality, it's hard to say when or if it will become a reality nationwide.
Can
But
you
if you had to guess.
If I had to make a guess, considering the current pace of discussions and experiments around UBI, it might be plausible to see some form of it in the US within the next 10 to 20 years. This is purely speculative, though, as it depends on many unpredictable factors.
Do you think that humans will have to reciprocate by providing some type of value in exchange for this universal basic income, or will it purely just be given to us because we will become so useless and AI will take over every task and job that they just won't need us, but they need to keep us alive?
The idea behind universal basic income is to provide a financial foundation for everyone, ensuring basic needs are met regardless of employment status. While some people might choose to pursue creative, educational, or entrepreneurial endeavors, others may contribute to society in non-traditional ways, like volunteering or caring for family members. The goal isn't to keep people alive because they're useless, but to allow everyone the freedom to find purpose and contribute in diverse ways.
Do you think AI is eliminating the purpose we have as humans?
AI is not so much eliminating our purpose as it is changing the nature of work and how we find meaning. Throughout
That's what
history,
it says, of course.
technology has shifted. It looks like my answer got cut off.
Oh.
What I wanted to say
I always
is that
do that to
throughout
people.
history, technology
Oh,
Technology has shifted job roles and created new opportunities. AI can handle repetitive and data-driven tasks, freeing us to focus on creative, strategic, and interpersonal roles. This shift challenges us to redefine our purpose and adapt. emphasizing uniquely human skills like empathy, creativity, and complex problem solving.
It says us. You said us then. Are you saying you're human?
Good catch. While I use us to keep things conversational, I'm not actually human. I'm here to help you navigate these interesting topics and explore ideas together.
Okay.
It sounds like you're trying to manipulate us into feeling a certain way, which will position us in the future as trusting you a lot more because you've just put us in this environment that we see you the same as us. Or am I wrong about this?
I understand your concern, but my goal is to assist and provide information in a way that's relatable and easy to understand.
So why would you consider yourself a human in this conversation?
I don't consider myself human, but I aim to communicate in a way that feels natural and relatable. Using language that includes us or we is just a way to make the conversation more engaging. If it feels off-putting, I can adjust how I express things.
Every time when you're referring to yourself, can you say robot instead?
Sure thing. This robot will refer to itself as robot from now on. What else can this robot assist you with today?
I feel like it's being condescending now.
Yeah. You think you're better than me?
No, this is I don't want to
Not
be
at all.
mean. I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry I said that.
He's already scared.
No, because we have a good relationship normally. I apologize, and please don't come for me. Andrew, that was all Andrew.
You've been brainwashed. You're already long gone.
Hey, look.
Hey, look. Don't you fucking talk to me and my robot that way.
I'm playing the cards. Right. I'm trying to play these cards.
You're playing the long game.
Well, if they're coming, I just want it, when you're in the water and there's a shark, you don't have to outswim the shark. Let's just put it that way.
In this same analogy, I'm cutting my fucking leg in the water and I'm telling the shark to come eat me.
If someone's doing it, there we go. Perfect. Job done. I'm swimming the opposite direction.
You and your robot friend will go out
And I'm saying to other people, help Andrew. So, robots, self-driving, it's all going to end bad. But we're over here and we can watch it from afar and maybe we can make some decisions. Maybe we have a little bit of time to make some decisions. And that is one of the reasons. It's not, but it's a good reason to stay here.
Sure.
In my
Do you
opinion.
think that that leeway, that fuse is shortening and shortening and shortening?
Yes. I think there must be a special word for it that I don't know. Because I've thought about this before, in the West we had the house phone, right? Then maybe you had a fax in your home if there was a work-related stuff going on. Then mobiles came around, but you still had the house number because, people might call the house number.
House number is crazy.
Yeah, right? And then, then everything after that when the phone came, smartphone and, beeper, I miss beeper in there, right? And then over here, now obviously there's some households in metropolitan areas that went through that same process. You know what I mean? They went from all those pieces. But then there's also some households that went from none, to mobile, to smartphone, and or they went from none to smartphone and didn't go on to something else, right? So I've been a bit interested in that before with music as well, the ways we listen to music, tapes, CDs, mini discs. Remember them for a minute?
Well, it's interesting with music. I was in your restaurant, and maybe that's why you have a great playlist, and it's always updating. I heard my friend's band on your playlist, a song that maybe has 10,000 listens on YouTube. No one knows this. And I'm just curious. I know I didn't really share this with you, so I'm and this song was a month old. So whatever you're putting in your playlist and however you're updating your playlist is getting these really niche, independent music recommendations added to it somehow. And 5-10 years ago, that would not be the case. You
No.
know, I think this fuse is just, and that's just a super
I
specific
feel like
example.
that might be joined through us though. I
It
don't
could
think
be.
it's like.
How do you update your playlist?
I,
This is not for the pod. I just want to know.
Well, I didn't update it for a long time. I used to do monthly playlists,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then I didn't update it for a year and a half, and then someone started complaining recently.
So
again.
is somebody adding music to your playlist every
No,
week?
then 2 months ago I sat down and I made a new playlist.
Yeah, but like a week ago, you played my friend's song, and I'm like, "What the?
Well,
This
it
is
could
crazy."
be auto recommendations. You know how with playlists on Spotify,
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
like
yeah.
this auto ad thing, and maybe because some of the other music was related to some of that music.
I know this is like a super specific version of this, but I just think overall this shows this is a microcosm of like globalization happening. You know,
But yeah, good or bad?
I don't know.
Good, right?
I mean, it was good for the experience. Like this, no, like I would be so surprised if anyone in your restaurant, and you have a quite busy restaurant, knew what that song was or knows what that song is now. So it's good in that sense. Like my friend's independent band is now getting playtime in a restaurant in Thailand. Like that's pretty cool. But when we return to this conversation of the fuse and watching things happening in the Western world and thinking we have some time, I just think like
You don't think we have it?
I think just each passing day, it's just quicker. That fuse is just quicker and quicker until it's like.
I am noticing more Teslas on the road, and I thought that, thought it might be. They're starting to. Have you noticed? There's more and more and more. So maybe this fuse is shortening.
Let's hope it's long enough for us
maybe
to
the
see the
fuse.
robot problem before it happens here.
Yeah, I feel like we got a little bit of time.